Hello everyone, welcome back to Flat Out. I hope you've been enjoying the flat season as it's been going. We certainly have been enjoying it, both in terms of watching the action and our tipping as well. It was a particularly good Dante Festival for, a couple of us. Jack, you'll get on the board very soon. But you did have a nice one earlier on, didn't you? That older horse, the Gosden one.
Oh, the first week I had a couple with Rule and Court and so didn't you, Moria? But yeah, you two carried me last week, so hoping to get back into usual routine and tip a few winners this week.
Usual routine of you dragging us along.
Well, maybe.
Let's blow your trumpet, shall we? Because it was a tremendous tip from you and the Dante.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, Pride of Aris going in. We all back SP anyway, don't we? Don't we? All SP. 12 to 1 put up here, 18 to 1 on the day. I was surprised, but I guess the strength of the line in winter probably tells that story.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I think the horse must be very, very good because Rafe did say a couple of days before that his string weren't really firing. Most of them needed a run. So for him to do that on his return, and he said he would improve, I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, I think he's a serious cult. Pride of Aris, likely Derby bound. Not likely Oaks bound was your winning selection, Whirl, who took the Musidora.
She did well, didn't she? Yeah, and there was a little bit of conjecture beforehand whether she would stay or she wouldn't stay. I was hopeful that she would, given the damn side of the pedigree. Indeed, she did, and she stayed really well, and she won pretty impressively, I thought. And nice to get Merchant in as well at York. That won well. I think appreciated the different track. Didn't really handle Newmarket that well last time, but show what he can do, I think, off his handicap mark at York. So a decent weekend, wasn't it, for the tips?
Yeah, it was. Hopefully that will all continue. Right, the action this weekend. Well, it's pretty much every weekend at this stage. There's just big race after big race, but it's the last of the Miling Classics, and the show rolls on to Ireland with the Irish 2000 and the Irish 1000 Guineas. Firstly, Jack, what do you make of the picture of the Irish 2000 Guineas? I think they've certainly been weaker. I think they maybe have been slightly stronger, but I like the overall profile of the race.
Yeah, we've literally only just got the kind of confirmations, haven't we, just in the last half hour? And even now, you're still not sure looking at them how many Aidan will run. I'm quite surprised that Juddmonte are going with such a strong hand, I thought they might just go with one in terms of field of goal, but not only that, they're going with Cosmic Year and Windlord, so they're really throwing everything at the race, aren't they? So I think they only needed one, really, and well, I won't divulge just yet, but I think they could have just went with one, to be honest.
They've been prevalent in all of the classics up until now, Tom, haven't they? Juddmonte, they placed with Field of Gold at Newmarket. Jonquil going really close in the French 2000 as well. They really want that classic. They have such a strong hand. They must be a little bit surprised it hasn't happened for them yet.
Yeah, and I think Detain was a bit unlucky in France as well.
Of course, yeah.
They do have an amazing 3-year-old crop this year. They really do. And I think you're right. They are adamant. They are absolutely focused on getting that Group 1, that Guineas win, which is why they've put the 2 in, well, 3 in, but the 2 with big chances, Field of Gold and Cosmic Year. And I personally, we'll come on to it in a second, but I'd be very surprised if Juddmonte didn't win this race.
Cool. We're going to try something slightly different for our big races from now on. We're going to take you through the angle of win, place, and avoid. So 3 horses that we'll mention, and the one that you'll definitely not want to back, in the opinion of one of us, and a couple that you should be very interested in. Let's take you through your thoughts first, Jack. Who's winning, who's placing, who you're avoiding?
Well, kind of alluded to Juddmonte. I think Field of Gold probably should have won the Guineas, and I just can't see him losing this. I think he's a much better horse than Cosmic Year, who would be my horse to avoid here. I'm not sold by his head carriage. He was impressive at Newmarket. I think this is a big step up, and I think he could just be at his best over 7 as well, so that would be a big negative for me. So doubts there, and his attitude. So he would be my horse to avoid. And at a place, if he runs, I would give another chance to Expanded. I think it probably was an afterthought with hindsight. We said just before we came on that this was always going to kind of be the target. Stepped in, fought Wayne. Id's got a few, hasn't he, Officer? Could be Ryan's choice, but I still haven't lost hope in Expanded being quite a nice horse. So,
yeah, no Twain supplemented once again.
No. I read that he might have had a setback the other day. He can't really keep out his way at the moment, can he? So I wouldn't... he kind of emerged, didn't he, in like the March, April time there as being like their number one. And yeah, I would just keep him on side and keep an eye out from going forward. Like a horse that springs to mind, I don't know if what the situation is with Twin, but when he does come out, like he reminds me of Magician, who had a long time out and he came and won the Breeders' Cup, didn't he?
And also with Twain on that is that he didn't make his debut, did he, last year until October?
No.
Then he ran again 2 weeks later, won a Group 1. So he clearly can perform at the back end of the season.
Yeah. So I would keep him on side and definitely in your thoughts for some of these races.
What about yourself?
Field of Gold wins. I think he's the standout. I know he's odds on, but I mean, I think he'd be very hard to beat. He should have won the Guineas in this country. And I think unless he's completely kiboshed by the Ballydoyle contingent, I see no reason why he won't win this. I think he's the best horse in the race. Cosmic Year, I think it's a little bit premature to say that he's a much better horse, Field of Gold, than Cosmic Year, just because we haven't seen how good Cosmic Year is just yet. I agree with Jack about the head carriage. It's not something you really want to see. But I can't wait to see him again. He's been very exciting all 3 starts so far. I love watching him. I just think he might find Field of Gold, who's had that Group 1 experience, just a little bit hard to handle. I'm going to go with the place, though, for Hot as Hell, who's coming back for Jesse Harrington. Disappointing that one didn't run at Newmarket. Bit of a shame. But he's a very classy horse. He likes the curragh, and he's really, really tough. And she'll have him spot on for this. So I think he's got a good chance of getting a place. And the one I'm going to avoid is Officer for Aidan O'Brien. He's lightly raced, of course, so there's plenty of upside about his chance going forward in big races. I just query the strength of the form beating Currawood last time. I always had as a bit of a negative horse in my book. And the two finished sort of quite close together. And although he might improve, this is a massive step up in class. And I get the feeling Officer's a bit of an afterthought for Aidan O'Brien and the team. They would have preferred a couple of other horses going into this race. So he'd be my one to avoid, but Field of Gold I think will take all the beating.
I can always count on one of you to have the complete contrasting opinion of mine. Thank you in this case, Tom, because Officer is my win in here. I think this has been the plan for him. It's just who exactly would have been riding him. Just turns out it's going to probably be Ryan Moore on this occasion. Fingers crossed. I liked his prep in the Tetrarch. He wasn't as well placed as Currawood, who actually I thought had the run of the race just in behind in the box. He got all the favours. Officer didn't necessarily, but was still able to take a trial that Paddington won en route to taking this. And he seems maybe in that similar kind of mould. He's going to have to go some to be in that kind of mould. But to take that slightly later maturing type, not ready for a Newmarket Guineas, but maybe well worth his place in an Irish one. And if he is first choice, then I'm with him. Rashabar's been completely forgotten. It's not bad form behind Jonquil. He backed that up in the French 2000. And Brian Meehan is speaking about him in the terms that he's usually reserved for very good Group 1 horses. And if it's good enough for Brian Meehan, then he should have a little slice of this pie. And Cosmic Year is my avoid. This is a big step up for the reasons that the guys were saying. The head carriage does concern me. And a stiff mile at the curragh. I think he should stay a mile for sure. I just think first time into this kind of test against this kind of opposition, he's likely going to be shorter than ideal for me, and I'd prefer to be against him personally. It'd be great if he proved us all wrong.
I think one thing to be in his favour, which quite surprised me, was obviously the jockey arrangements. Obviously O'Sheen fresh off winning on lead artist for the Gosdens, for Judmont. You would think perhaps that he would have first choice. Yeah. I don't know if he'd been in to ride any of them, but I mean, if I was given the choice, I'd be riding Field of Gold. So.
Westover, though, isn't it? Westover syndrome. Colin Keane riding him, jockeying off Rob Hornby.
Possibly, yeah.
Home team advantage, home jockey advantage.
Yes, exactly. It might just have been that Judmont wants someone who, I mean, O'Sheen will know what the curragh's like anyway, but obviously Colin Keane probably has that advantage in terms of experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's fascinating as well, the sort of lineup of these Judmont horses, these Judmont colts, going forward from this race, because if Cosmic Year doesn't stay the mile, I can see him potentially dropping back to 7 or even 6 for Royal Ascot. Then you have Jonquil, who's going to go for the St James's Palace, and that might mean if Field of Gold wins well, stays the mile strongly at the Curragh, which I'm sure he will do, then the Eclipse has been mooted for him. So there's a load of different options going forward.
Yeah, I should caveat, I think Field of Gold has a favourite's chance in this. The only reason I left him off my ticket, I just think he's short enough in a race like this. I think everything about the Curragh should suit him. A stiff mile for a horse that I think wants further. I can absolutely see it. I'm just not parting with my hard-earned at odds on, personally.
No, fair enough. It's a very short price, so yeah, I can understand. But at the same time, I can't see anything big enough to beat him myself.
Fair play. Odds on likely then for Field of Gold in the Irish 2000. Now, when it comes to the Irish 1000, this has a really interesting makeup at the stage that we're talking about it now. Lake Victoria at the top of the market. That's going to be, I think that's going to be divisive enough given that the price she's likely to go off. You're with her.
I must start by saying I don't have an overly strong opinion, but I am with her, and again, like Field of Gold, I just think she's the class act here. I do massively respect Swelter, and again, it's so boring to say, but I think the winner will come from the first two here. Swelter was impressive enough there, first time up. Obviously, this had been the target, but I just think Lake Victoria, Aidan sounded the warnings well before Newmarket, in fairness to him, didn't he? And she was beaten not far in a blanket finish, so I'm expecting her to come on a good bit for that. And you know, if she can hit the heights as she did last year, which is obviously still a question mark at this point, was she just a 2-year-old like a Clemmy or like a Meditate you mentioned just before we came on air? But I think if she comes on a good deal, she's going to have too much class for these.
Who would your place option be in this?
My place option was going to be probably Swelter, but at a bigger price.
Filthy each way.
Yeah, no, anything under 5-1, you wouldn't want to go each way. I mean, I could put her up as well. I think, I just do think it is hard to see past the front two there. And my avoid would be whatever Ollie Sangster runs. I know he's still undecided yet of what he runs. I just think he wouldn't necessarily have been thinking of this going into the Guineas. And now it's like, oh, they've both ran so well. I'm going to have to decide now. I'm assuming the other one goes to Ascot, but I think he would have had them primed to run for their lives there at Newmarket, and I just think maybe at this point it's a little bit of an afterthought, and I think they could be a little short now on the back of that. And with the expectation of Lake Victoria improving past them after that run.
That's a very eloquent and really well thought out case about why you would oppose them. It's just the wording of it. Hard to take it as any other way as shots fired. Whatever Ollie Sangster runs.
Because he's said that he's only going to run one. If they were running both, I'd say take them both on. So yeah, no doubt.
He needs to put the pistol back in the holster. You aren't of that opinion. I think one of them is in your place option.
Well, I think he might run Simmering over Flight. I think that Simmering might be one who handles the track a little bit better than Flight, but we shall see. I mean, it's the lap of the Sangster gods, really, isn't it? That we don't really know what he's going to do yet. Yeah, she would be my place. I thought she ran a mighty race in the Guineas, and I got the feeling with that run that, yeah, she might even come on a bit for that as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing her again. I think Swelter's so solid here. I really do. I thought she produced a tremendous comeback at Leopardstown, the Prairie Belle, which has been a good marker for this race before. And that's over 7 furlongs. She won her maiden over a mile, and we know she stays a mile. She probably won a little bit further than that in time, perhaps, but she will get the mile really well. And the Curragh should suit. She's unbeaten. She's looked very exciting. I thought she had a blinding turn of foot at Leopardstown last time. And the winner was, of course, Swelter, but one of the horses who finished in behind was Copacabana Sands, who actually won on Sunday, I think it was, in what was a decent enough listed race, or Group 3, I think it was a listed race.
7 furlongs, yeah.
Yeah, but she showed a really good turn of foot down the outside, and she was one to come out of that to go and win. So the form looks quite solid, I think, of Swelter, and Dermotwell's got a tremendous record in the race as well. So I think there's a huge amount of appeal as far as she's concerned for the win. Lake Victoria, understand what Jack says about her. If she returns to the class that she shows as a 2-year-old, she finished off her campaign rated 119, incredibly high rating. She was much the best of the 2-year-olds. But she had a really long season. She went to the wall multiple times. It takes a serious, durable, resolute filly to be able to do what she did and go and win in America at the end of the season. Therefore, with her slightly underwhelming 6th at Newmarket, I know that there was a caveat to the fact that she might have needed it and she's going to come on for it. But at the prices, she's around about 6-4, 13-8. I'd be much keener on the second favourite, who I think is coming there as a solid 3-year-old marker. We'll know she'll run her race, and I think now's the time to catch her.
I can absolutely see it, and I am slightly questioning why I've left Swelter off my ticket altogether.
And now that you've heard my arguments...
Well, exactly. I'm not going to change it.
Okay.
I completely get it, but I don't want to avoid her at all. I think she's a very talented filly. For a horse that has taken the same route that Homeless Songs did, winning the Priory Bell and going on to the Irish 1000. I just wanted to look for a bit of supplementary value. I've gone with that Sealer for the win for Donncha O'Brien, who she's kind of just come out of nowhere, to be honest. She won a Bellewstown maiden to kick off the season. And you might be thinking, what? Bellewstown? And now she's going into a classic. But she did what a horse shouldn't be able to do at Bellewstown, and was to completely blow the start and win going away. You blow the start at Bellewstown, you are likely finished, especially on a debut performance. She was a cut above there. You can say, well, she was just the best horse in the race. She then won the Atharsi, which is a great trial. It's over course and distance. On the bank holiday after the Guineas weekend, or on the Monday. And at that point, even surprised Donncha O'Brien, who said, I think we might have to look at something even a little bit better. They've taken the plunge. They're supplementing her for the Irish 1000 Guineas. And I think in a field that there are unknowns about plenty of them, I'm willing to take my chance that their money is going to be best placed. And I'm willing to take a chance as well that another supplementary horse in City of Memphis, I hear you asking, who's City of Memphis? Well, she's trained by Paddy Toomey. She's run just once. It was this season. It was an older horse maiden, notice a pattern, 6 furlongs at Cork, and she was way too good for them. She was entitled to be. She was a winning odds-on favourite on debut. But it was the way that Paddy Toomey had taken her out of the Irish 1000 Guineas, and after that said, oh God, we need to supplement again. He's not someone who parts with his cash unless there's good reason for it. He thinks she's classy. He's a very shrewd man, and that will absolutely do for me. I think she might just be a little bit of value if they put her back in. I'm avoiding Lake Victoria 6-4 at the time of recording. It's way too short. I'm not sure what I make of that Guineas form, if I'm completely honest. A lot of them finished in a heap. There's about, just under 3 lengths between the first 6. Should come on a bundle. Am I going to take 6-4? No, I'm going to avoid her. And I think she can still get beaten in this race and still have a good campaign. She's only second up after a really, really long and tiring 2-year-old campaign where she did things that other horses just weren't able to do. But I'm willing to take a chance that they caught up to her. And I think the price allows me to do so. So Lake Victoria, I would avoid, but my win would be at Sealer and City of Memphis, who I'm not even sure what price she might go off, but I'm hoping for something relatively juicy.
I like the Paddy Toomey supplementary angle, actually. Yeah. Because he is Mr. Shrewd. Like, he's not going to go and do that just willy-nilly, is he?
Just look at the strike rate.
Yeah,
he doesn't send them to the track unless he actually thinks they have a decent chance of winning.
Exactly. So I can see that for sure.
We'll see.
We have Attila 12s and City of Memphis is 12s as well.
Oh, okay. I was
That's withered your sail.
It did. I'll be honest, it did, yeah. It did completely. Right, okay. Interesting. Well, the Paddy Toomey angle.
Yeah.
He commands a shorter price than if a few other people would have been trading it.
It's taken the bookmakers a while to cotton on to how shrewd he is, but I think unfortunately they have finally.
Yeah, I think so. Away from those 2 races, I just wanted to get your opinions on the Tattersalls Gold Cup, which year on year, I've always it's not really a gimme race per se, but there are much stronger 10 furlong contests all the way through the year, in my book, the Eclipse, the Juddmonte, the Champion Stakes. This is a great renewal. If they're all turning up, this could be a cracker, couldn't it?
Yeah, it really could be. I'm led to believe that Sir Anmart will be declared. Owen Burrows is very keen on going there.
You went to see him?
I did, and he said that he had 2 potential targets in mind for him, early season targets. One of them was the Prix d'Ispahan in France at Longchamp, and the other one was this race. And it looks like he's going to send Anmart to Takara, which is great to see. It'll really add to the whole sort of makeup of the race, which also has White Birch in there and potentially Los Angeles. It's a proper hot race in prospect. If they all turn up, I think it's going to be really interesting. Looking at it now, with a few days to go, I'd have, of the 3, White Birch, I think, as my pick in the race. I thought you ran a blinder to be second last time. Didn't quite get up, but it wasn't far. And I'm glad that John Joseph Murphy seems to have got him back. It was a long time off the track. So, anyway, whatever happens, it's going to be a great race, I think.
Well, until he made that that returning run. We hadn't seen him since he won this race 12 months ago. I really liked his comeback run. Would you have him over Los Angeles, Jack?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I echo everything that you two have said. It's probably a race at the moment. I wouldn't. I think you just need the final V. It could be 5 or 6 runners, but absolutely with full of quality. Al Makam is a possible. I absolutely love Al Makam. If you ran, I would have to possibly sway to him, but I think he's got the option of the Dispahan and also Sandown next week, which I suspect, having won on that card last year, and with the fact it's quite dry, obviously, this week, they'll be hoping maybe for a bit of juice and then bigger targets at the end of the year. So keep an eye out for Al Makam, maybe at Sandown a week on Thursday. At the moment, yeah, I probably would edge towards White Birch overturning that form of Los Angeles.
Anything else over the weekend that you're particularly looking forward to seeing? It doesn't have to be at the Curragh, can be, well, there's just so many meetings on Saturday. I think you've got 6 different options.
Yeah, I mean, the Curragh on Saturday in the Premier Handicap over a mile, Curdor, I'm quite interested in for Dermot Weld towards the top of the weights. But he's a 9-year-old now. You know, he's not getting any younger. He's pretty old for a flat horse, to be honest. And he's coming off the back of a break. But he loves the Curragh. He's run there and won there quite a few times in the past. He won a couple of Premier Handicaps on the bounce, actually, at the latter end of 2023. And he ended last year with a really good effort in a couple of big handicaps again, finishing 4th at the Curragh last time. Not beaten too far. He'll be ready to go for this. Don't well to have him spot on.
Likes quick ground.
Likes quick ground. And he's, I think, £2 higher than his last winning victory in the Premier Handicap that he last won, but he has come down the weights a bit, so he was a fair bit higher in the weights than he is now. So I think he's become more well handicapped again, and he loves a big field handicap at the Curragh. That's his bread and butter, and he'll get that. So I think he's got a pretty good chance in that Premier Handicap. So he's one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, he might be 9 years old, but the older the berry, the sweeter the juice, maybe.
I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Are you a wine drinker?
No.
Okay.
No, I like red wine-ish.
Okay.
I wouldn't be my kind of bag.
But an older berry is often nicer.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
Well, I don't know. I assume so. That's why
right,
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know. But if you get a vintage crop, then I suppose generally it's more expensive and more.
God, Dermot Weld this, Dermot Weld that. 2 selections and mentioning a Melbourne Cup winner, vintage crop. Fantastic.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I gave you an out. But,
You did.
What about yourself, Jack? Do you feel there's anything at the Curragh, or would you be looking elsewhere?
I must admit, I'm not going to watch any racing this weekend because I'm on holiday.
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice.
I'm off to Vegas on Thursday for 5 days. So,
They'll be showing the racing in the casinos, won't they?
well, they might do. I might have to get a VPN. I'm if there is a race I'm looking forward to, it's the Dispahan, where hopefully Sardinian Warrior, who obviously wasn't confirmed or declared for the lock-ins on the weekend, suspect he's going for this. So it'll be like 7 or 8 in the morning. So I might have to. I don't know. I might still be out in the casinos at that point. I don't know.
Legend.
You never know what time of day it is.
Pumping the oxygen into
So,
it, yeah.
Yeah, if anyone, I need to get a VPN, so where you can get on without the restrictions and stuff. So I might have to keep an eye out for him. But no, I'm not going to watch any racing, but obviously I'll keep an eye on the results and stuff.
So Sardinian Warrior would be your part of. We're going to do a Trixie. We're going to each put one
Yes.
up. Is he your confident selection?
No, I would have one above all else, and that's at Goodwood in the 3:45 on Saturday. It is French Master. It's the mile 6 handicap. Let me just get it up so I can. I don't think there is any market yet. There's not. But I just thought French Master. He's absolutely bred to be the part. He's a Frankel colt, but he's a full brother to Mahafeth. You lads will remember a few years ago around this time he was actually near enough favourite for the Derby after he'd won so impressively for William Haggis at Newmarket. And I think William was probably justified in the end because there was a lot of call for him to run the Derby. And as we all know, you only get one chance with a colt to run in the race. And he rightly kept him to 10, as it proved he didn't quite stay. I think he ended up winning at Royal Ascot, but then like 4th in a Judmont, Mishriff's Judmont. All that comes to a French Master. He's absolutely bred to be the part, and he ran a really good race at Newmarket behind El Cordobes, who consolidated that form with a really good run at Newmarket there on the weekend gone. Lavender Hill Morbin behind, he's won since, so I think that form's really, really solid. French Master still only rated 96. He's jocked up already with Rab Havlin. I suspect he's not quite like Mohamed. I think he's going to take a bit more stamina in his pedigree and this step up to a mile 6. Yeah, he could be for me like with the same trainer and owner combination, be like a Sweet William and be an Ebo horse in time. And
Nice.
yeah, I really like French Moss. I think he's got a good bit in hand. He's bred to be the part, and I'm hoping he's going to be a bit of a price. It looks quite a warm race, don't get me wrong. You've got Align the Stars, Caballo de Mar, some really nice horses in there. But no, I think the French Moss could be a little bit ahead of the handicap at the moment.
Very interesting. For my selection, I've been umming and ahhing, and I've just actually changed back to my original one. I do like Magira in the Temple, but I am going to switch tack and go for Amilok in the Cocked Hat, also a Goodwood. I really like this horse. It must be something about these David Ackroyd Silks, first Pride of Arras and now Amilok. But I saw him at Goodwood when he won the John Dunlop conditions, and that was such an impressive run for a horse who Rafe had said, he said to me in the post-race interview, nothing that he does should make him, he wants further than a mile, is what I'm in a roundabout badly trying to say. And he got a good pace to bring him into that. He looked visibly outpaced. It's an easy mile at Goodwood, and he still, just like in his runs at Kempton the previous summer, he just went away from them in the style of a very, very good horse. He immediately said, we're stepping him up. Doesn't matter what he's done at a mile. We're looking forward to seeing him over further. So on mile 3, he is, I mean, he's bred to be a classic horse. Unfortunately, he's gelded. So that isn't the kind of way that they can go. But the Cocked Hat, it used to be something of a Derby trial. It used to be the last Derby trial, realistically. Not really the makeup of it anymore. You're more looking for races further down the line.
Ledger strikes in my head initially.
Right, exactly. You could very well see a horse taking those kind of races a little bit later on, a Great Voltager, perhaps even. And I think he could be in that mould. I think he was pleasantly surprised, but not that surprised at his ability. It was more that he was able to do what he did over a mile. He's back to Goodwood.
And he drifted like a broken dinghy, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he
Goodwood,
did.
Yeah.
That's true. He went off about 6.
I think it was 6 or 7. Yeah, and he was definitely a lot shorter in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So the public paid him no respect, but I have every respect for Amilok, and I think he's just going to carry on improving. Still unbeaten. I hope he will be. He will be at the end of the race. He'll be my leg of the Trixie.
Can I just quickly add, Rafe Beckett in that race, I thought there'd been a setback with Stanhope Gardens because I thought this was his Derby horse. I must have thought they've clicked the wrong race because they put him in the 7 furlong handicap in the first race. He's off 111, and I was like, because.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Okay. But it looks right because they put him in a mild conditions race as well, and the fact he wasn't in the Dante, I thought, oh well, it doesn't make sense to me because there's a guy he's going to improve with. Perhaps he's showing a lot more speed over the winter. I don't know, but for me, going in over the winter, I thought, whenever he runs, he'll be there, number one Derby.
They've got too many 3-year-olds. They're not to do with them.
Well, they've got Sir Dinadan in the Cocked Hat as well, but Kingscote is on both of them. But I suspect, having won a Goodwood the last day there, he probably will run Amilok again. But yeah, no, I was super impressed with Amilok the last day. I'd agree with that. It looks a good race though. Tycoon was quite impressive at Windsor. Opportunities, the apple of William Haggis's eye, but I suspect he probably isn't up to the class of probably the aforementioned duo there.
So Amilok, my leg of the Trixie, if he doesn't run for any reason, as you mentioned, Richard Kingscote jocked up for 2 Rafe Beckett horses, then switch to Magira in the Temple. Think he should carry on improving. Who you got?
I'm going to go along with the sort of swelter City of Memphis theme.
Okay.
Arizona Blaze.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully it'll be a nice hot weekend so they can all run well. And
this is the Sandy Lane.
In the Sandy Lane, sorry, yeah, Haydock. I love what he did last time at Longchamp in France. He really drew away very impressively, I thought, in the closing stages. And they did try him over 7, didn't they, at Leopardstown earlier in the season. He didn't quite stay, but he still ran well. And I just thought when he crossed the line in 3rd that day, he just looks a sprinter. They have tried, but he just doesn't. He's not going to get the mile for sure. 7's probably not his trip either, but 6 or 5 is certainly what he wants. And I think he's got plenty of toe. And of what those have done so far, let's look at the horses in there so far, and Big Mojo and Symbol of Honour. It looks quite a smart race in prospect. Powerful Glory is out and beaten so far for the Fahey team. But there's something about Arizona Blaze visually that's just really taken me this season. And he comes in here really race fit, hardened, and I think he'll try and make all, and I'd be surprised if they're able to catch him, to be honest.
Yeah, I could. Do I agree? I don't know if I do. I think it's just your convincing cases. To be honest, it sends me into this.
Do you know what?
Think, yeah, you're right.
Do you know what
but
it is?
I don't know if I do agree.
Do you know what it is though? It's like it doesn't. As long as you're confident and you've got power of your convictions, even if I'm talking Swahili, then maybe you're still going to go along with it. That's the thing, isn't it?
There you are. Life lessons from Tom Bull. Not just tips, life lessons.
I mean, that's why I talk a lot of rubbish. But I say it confidently.
A lot of bull.
A lot of bull. Very good. But I say it confidently, and therefore only most people can see through it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're hoping for a sunny weekend. You don't really care. You're off to Vegas.
I'm going to have a sunny weekend. It's 38 degrees.
Now, what could you possibly need, both of you, should it be sunny conditions?
I know one thing I
He
need.
asked a leading question.
Well, I need some swimming pool gear for being around the pool for a few days. So.
Perfect. This is going great. What about yourself, Tom?
I don't know. Some nice footwear, I think, would do you well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe a nice towel to dry yourself off with. Well,
Why do you ask?
you can win all of this. You can win all of this. A beach towel, a pair of sliders, and some beach shorts, all emblazoned with the Racing TV logo. And all you have to do is, in the comments below, give your 1, 2, 3 for the Irish 2000 Guineas. The closest wins the lot. So a merch bundle. You can't say it fairer than that, can you?
Absolutely. Brilliant prize. Might try and enter myself, though I think I'm probably not going to win. Allowed to win.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Slight conflict of interest there.
Once again, for a second podcast in a row, love your enthusiasm, just slightly misplaced.
Yes, exactly. As always.
Lovely. Have you got all of your clubber for
I'm
the
all
holiday?
set. Travel money, everything. Yeah.
Excellent.
Esther, and all ready.
Thank God, I'm glad you've got your Esther. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere.
No, we're all sorted. Yeah.
Right, let's give a recap of our Trixie that we're going to give. I'm Amalok in the cocked hat. You are?
French Master in the 345 at Goodwood.
And although Jack's going to be in Nevada, I'm going to go with Arizona Blaze.
Fantastic. And just a reminder of your win selections for the Irish 2000 and 1000 Guineas.
It's not very creative at all, and as I say, it's not really betting races for me. But Field of Gold and Lake Victoria, I think, are just going to be too good.
I'm going with Jobmont Jubilation, both races, Field of Gold and Swelter.
Fantastic. And I'm shooting for the stars. Apparently, I am going for Officer. Not really shooting for the stars, but maybe a little bit more with that Sealer. Looking for an O'Brien double with father and son in the Irish 2000 and 1000 Guineas, which you can enjoy live all the way through the weekend on Racing TV. Loads of racing to get involved with. But remember, if you are getting involved, please gamble responsibly. And have a few shekels on our tips. They're going all right so far, and long may it continue. Have a great weekend. Remember, comment down below your 1, 2, 3 for the Irish 2000 Guineas and your selections as a whole, and we will see you again very soon.